Let's talk for just a minute about what you should see in a lesson. If we look at lesson 1, for example, you'll see that there's an introduction, and that introduction usually tells you what the learning goals are for the lesson, and the learning goals tell you what's going to be on the test, or what you need to know to do assignments and papers that are graded. And then there's a reading and viewing section. So there'll be some reading assignment here. It'll either be your textbook, a section of your textbook that I'll specify and direct you to, or notes that I have made. So in this case, here are notes that I have made about that lesson. And then there's a discussion that'll be required. And for the discussion, you're going to need to post at least 3 times in order to get full credit, right? So you could post a question about the lesson after you've read it and looked it over. You could post an answer to someone else's question. Maybe other students have asked some questions about it. You could post an answer to what they've said. And thirdly, you could post, so you could talk back and forth with other students about the concepts in that lesson. And as long as your posts have some academic value, then they count. Now, if you just go on and say, hey, so-and-so, I really liked what you wrote. That was a good definition or whatever, and that's all you say, you won't get any academic points for that. Now, go ahead and do that because I encourage you to be nice, okay? But you won't get any credit just for saying, hey, that I liked what you wrote. That's nice. That's not part, that is discussing, but you need to talk about the concepts in order to get credit. Okay, so do both of those things. Just have chit chat, but also talk about the individual concepts that we are studying. And so you're going to need at least 3 posts in there during the time that we're covering the lesson to get full credit. So really, it's really easy to get full credit. And it's in the online class, this is kind of the substitute for that discussion that we might have in the classroom, okay? And then finally, each lesson usually has a quiz or graded assignment. So it'll be a quiz for each lesson in this course. So there's an introduction, there's reading and viewing that's required, there's a required discussion, and there's a quiz. And that's something you'll find as the components of each lesson as you go through the course. You'll see that same kind of lineup over and over again. There's one essay assignment in the course, and it's an essay where you use the sociological paradigms to explain something in society. Okay, now I put it in lesson 10. That's where I would have you actually submit the essay, but you can start working on it early in the course as soon as you feel like you're ready to start working on it. Because, for example, in lesson 2, we're going to talk a little bit about what these paradigms are. And then in every lesson, as we go through, we're going to use the paradigms to explain different aspects of society. So when we get to the lesson that talks about the family, we're going to use the sociological paradigms to explain the family. When we get to a lesson that talks about education as an institution in society, we'll use the paradigms to explain education. When we get to the section where we talk about stratification in society, we'll use the paradigms to explain stratification in society. Okay, so you'll have lots of practice going through the course of seeing how one could use these paradigms. A paradigm is just a model to explain something. Okay, that's what it is. And so you'll see how we can use it to explain different things. And then I just want you to do that in your paper, a very short paper. And lesson 10 will show you how to do it, what the requirements are, and what it's supposed to look like. So let's look briefly at the discussion in this lesson. I'm going to click on Introduce Yourself Discussion, and it takes me to this discussion page. And there's instructions there. It says, please write a post for this discussion to introduce yourself to the class. Include anything you wish, but only information you don't mind being public, because everyone in the class will be able to see it. All right? So what you can do is just reply to this. Click reply, and then you can post your information about yourself. My name is Dave Strickland, etc., etc. And then when you're done, just click post reply, and it will add it to the discussion. The last module in our course will be the one for the final exam. And the discussion for that will be just an open discussion where you can discuss anything about the course with other students that you like. And the way we're going to do the final exam in our course online is I'm going to make it available for you for about one week, because all of you have different schedules. So you may have different work schedules and other courses and other classes that you attend face to face. And so rather than trying to have us all do an exam at the same time or narrow down that time to one particular hour of a day, I'm going to just open it a week before the last day you can do it, and leave it open for a week. And at any point you can go in and take the final exam during that week. The final exam will be different from the quizzes. It will be similar to the quizzes. It might be in that it might have similar types of questions on it, but you'll only have 1 or 2 attempts at the final exam. Whereas with the quizzes, you had unlimited attempts before the deadline. With the final exam, I'll give you 2 attempts, and I will take the highest grade of your 2 attempts. With the quizzes, you have unlimited attempts until the deadline for that particular quiz, and you get the average grade, right, of all of your attempts. So that's how the final is different from quizzes. Okay, and you can see on the course schedule the dates, the deadlines for the final, the deadlines for each quiz and each individual lesson.